All right. So, for the second league of the night, we're going to be trying out some good old Living End. I say old. The archetype is old, but it's got some new cards from Ikoria. Why did one of those cards just disappear? Bad magic. It was requested by MTG Tavern, and I'll oblige right now, because why not? For those who don't know how Living End works, is we basically try to fill our graveyard with massive creatures, such as an 11/11 with Trample, a 6/4, a 3/6, a 5/4, or a 4/4, and then the 3/4 Street Race. So we basically just try to cycle those into our graveyard as quickly as possible while getting to the point where we can cast either Violent Outburst or Demonic Dread to then have Living End cast off of the Cascade trigger to bring all of the stuff in our graveyard back to the battlefield. So that's the idea behind the deck. And then other than that, it's got some Seasoned Pyromancer to help you dig and remove and cycle some of these if you can't. Yes, they do. Archfiend, whenever we cycle, will then put -1/-1, and then our will give itself +2/+1 when we cycle. That'll be nice. So this has Seasoned Pyromancer as a bit more utility to help us dig it if we need it, and then Blood Moons as well as a way to lock our opponents from being able to do things. In the sideboard, what we've got is Ricochet Trap I'm guessing this is as a way to counter their spell. Like they go for a counter spell, we then Ricochet Trap their counter spell to some other target. Ingot Chewer is a way to destroy an artifact, such as Ensnaring Bridge. Anger, in case they have more creatures. Fairies for graveyards. Oh, this also hits Grafdigger's Cage, which will be a bane of our existence. So that's why Ingot Chewer is a good card. Fulminator Mage to hit non-basic lands, and then some additional cards, because sometimes oh, you're right, it exiles. You're right. And then Crashing Footfalls, I'm assuming, is just a way to where if we need to be faster, we can then put those in as additional hits for our Cascade to then hit. Because sometimes a 4/4 is hard, 2 4/4s is hard to deal with if you can get that out early enough. So yeah, let's hop into some matches and see how well we can do with Jund Living End. Footfalls if you expect graveyard hit. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Quite a bit of time. There we go. Onwards to match 1. See how we do with Jund Living End. We won the die roll. I'm assuming we want to be on the play. Man, hands gas when you don't have... Yeah, okay. Hands gas when you don't have lands. So this has 1 cycler plus a seasoned. While it does have 2 living ends, we are going to be putting 1 away. I think this is a keep. So we can bottom 1. Yep. They mulligan to 5. Makes me think that this might be like a Tron. I don't know many decks that mulligan that aggressively. We'll lead off on a Verdant and pass. Yeah, I want to say the other one's just free discard. Okay, so mulligan down to 5 in a Birds deck. It's not necessarily Neoform. It could be, but I think it's more along the lines of some value town type thing. So color wise, I guess it's overgrown tomb. Because we already have double red, and this will give us double red, double black, double green. Grove, we can cycle on their instep. Black Cleaves is going to have to come down next turn. Scoos. Oh no. Yeah. So the problem is they have open one green with this Windswept. I don't think we cycle right now. While it's a good bait, we don't have any additional interaction. Okay. So Blackleaf's Cliffs definitely comes down here. I think it's Pyromancer pitching Living in Grove, right? True. But at this point, I think we're looking just for answers. So by pitching these, it then gives us... Well, that's unfortunate. They crack that for a breeding pool. Shocks it in. That's interesting. And then eats our living end? Sure. Cracks a flooded trend. Is this Bant? Okay, so it's full on Bant. Then they acid moss us. A bit unfortunate to set us back that land, but we're still decent. I guess our best hit off the top here is Blood Moon. Shuts them off of blue and white. Okay, that's a Foothills. I guess at this point it's swing. See if they want to trade their Scoos. Offer this trade. They do not. Unfortunate for us. Utopia sprawls their forest. Is this like 5-color Niv? No. Ghost Quarter. Okay. So they have 3/4 green. Still no point to try to overload our cyclers. Let's go ahead and get a non-basic, since that Ghost Quarter is going to try to make us hit a basic. We'll get Blood Crypt here, gives us double red, double black, double green. And then they Ghost Quarter it, that's fine. We'll get ourselves basic swamp. Okay. Again, we'll offer this trade. They block with the bird. That's fine. Tap for a green. Assuming eats something of ours. Okay. I guess they can eat their own bird to gain some life. Eats bird, eats grove. Sure. So they have quad green. A little bit unfortunate if they have the counter magic, which I'm assuming they do since they're playing Bant Control. They only have one card in hand, though. They float the green. They eat our Blood Crypt. And eat another land, sure. So while we now can't cycle this Rex, we're still okay. We also no longer have access to white man. Never mind. Triple red. Karn the Great Creator. Okay. Oh, is this Bant Control deck that then tries to get through with side issues we can't cast green? Yeah, that's true. We currently don't have green. So there's their Liquid Metal, which is going to pose an issue for us. Well, there's our Blood Braid, which we couldn't cast anyway. So the issue is we're about to start just getting destroyed by this Karn the Great Creator. We can cycle 2 cards. Yeah. I mean, that's my luck, is I always draw insanely badly when I'm piloting a deck the first time. So we pass here. They go for the Liquid Metal. I'm assuming they try to target probably our swamp. We'll float 1. Let it happen. Yeah, I was gonna say at this point, I could have cycled the Archfiend, so that way they only get 1. I mean, we still cycle probably Archfiend here, right? Try to get him to tap. There's a monkey. Okay. So at this point, we can cycle those 3 cards trying to find something. Since cycling's at instant speed. Tap for a red. Yep. Okay. Still can't cascade out of this. Their screws can eat 2 things. And only 2? So if we pitch the monkey... Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Because that's both of our living ends. There's no more living ends to cycle into. And there's a mountain. Okay. So, what do we have for scoos? Angers. And then... So it's control. Fulminator doesn't seem terrible. As far as what we want to pitch, I really don't know. I'm assuming we want to keep as many of our cascades as possible. Trap. True. I'm assuming it shaves some number of seasoned pyromancers because while the card's good, it's one of our bigger things to get rid of. You could get rid of a horror. Moon should probably... True. Yeah. Especially since they saw it game 1 too. Well, yeah, shutting them off of their multicolors, you're right. They're definitely going to fetch as many basics as they can first. 3 more cards to cut. Is it a pair of Blood Moon? Is it a pair of the Bloodbraid Elves and then like one of our Cycler guys? Keeping Bloodbraid, pitching the Seasoned Pyromancer. I mean, the problem is we're bringing in Fulminator Mage and Anger, which Bloodbraid can hit. I like that. Keeping in the Singleton Bloodbraid Elf. Since we're bringing in 3 or more things that it can hit, and then boarding out other stuff. So it's still a 50-50 shot. All right, let's see. Okay, so basic swamp and either red or green. I think this is a keep. Like, the problem is we can't quite cast this Anger yet. But we have lots of ways to get there. Get off on the swamp, pass the turn. Fetch basic forest, I'm assuming. Yep. Bird. Okay. All right. 1 land away. Worst case scenario is Scoos can eat a card. Blue, white 1. Utopia Sprawls. Okay. Name's Blue. It's a fairy. That stops the cascade effect. Okay. Yep. This is fun. This is. Yep. Main logic behind Bloodbraid Elf is just it's a beater that has haste. They'll uptick. It's Larry. I screwed up there. I should have gotten a either tapped land. We will go ahead and just put that into play tapped and then cycle this, trying to find our third land drop. Unfortunate. So we go ahead and pass here because we're trying to just land this a fulminator to start beating down this Teferi. But we're gonna be having a very hard time. Oh, did you think I was kidding about I will draw terribly? No. This is my luck when I play decks that I'm not used to. Well, hey, at least we got that. Yeah, this Teferi at 7. That's just gonna be nigh impossible to beat. And a Scoos. Woot woot. They have 2 green. Sure. Eat to your heart's content. Oh, they have lots of green. Yeah, yeah. that sums it up in a nutshell. It's just, I might know what I'm doing, but the deck will do everything in its power to tell me no. So we're not beating this Scoos and Teferi at this point. As much as I would love to keep playing this out, they've got Scavenging Ooze on 6. And we drew absolutely terribly. So we cycle, we get this card. Or is Magic Online going to tell us no? All right. Magic Online is going to tell us no. I'd believe it. All right. So, as we said, facing control decks, Living End's going to have a hard time against. What's our first match? Bant Control. That's that weird Bant Control list that uses Teferi and then Karn to go grab the puzzle, not puzzle box, but the thing that everybody exiles cards underneath it. And then whenever you try to cast a spell. Yep, that's modern for you. They never established that lock, but they didn't need to. We cycled extremely aggressively early and then got locked out by that Teferi. And then when that Scoos was able to come down, they just ate away our yard. And then they have a 3-turn clock on us. All right. Hopefully, the deck will treat us a bit better going into match 2. Okay, so we've got 2 cycles plus a seasoned pyromancer here. It's a bit on the land heavy side, but I think that should be fine from the aspect of we can cycle, and then pitch lands to pyromancer. Like, our one downside would be if this is Jund. Okay. Probably Panza. They name red with that. So we will go ahead and play out this Verdant. Yeah, I was going to say this is going to be a Verdant don't fetch, because Verdant will give us access to a basic swamp. Since we already have the basic forest in hand. This way, if they go for a Blood Moon, we don't get shut off of any of our colors. I guess we technically get shut out of double red on turn 3. Would you look at that? It's a Magus of the Moon. Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't need to fetch anyway there because we have the cycle pay 2. Demonic Dread. Cool. So you're telling me we get to get an 11/11 and a 3/4 back next turn? Go ahead, Ponza player. Do your worst. I guess their worst could technically be Pillage. Why? Why do they always have to have it? I know. That's what I get. So we take 2 here. Well, we don't need to cycle with the Street Wraith since they just set us back a turn. Play out this non-basic mountain. Say go. Hope they don't have Pillage number 2 to cut us off of green. Yeah, Clothis will be an issue here, but I mean, our main issue is we don't have black to cast this Demonic Dread, so we're trying to find a Violent Outburst. Well, there's the Clothis. So we now kind of sort of got to get there. What, did you think that they wouldn't have it? They always have it. Okay, that's pretty good here. So the question is, do we Pyromancer to try to find an answer? Wraith, that is true. Wraith first. And 2 village main board? Okay. See if we get lucky. We don't. It's a street race. See if we get lucky. We don't. Okay. I think at this point it's Pyromancer pitching lands. Win the 11/11? Yeah, it's a new card for Living End. How's it going, Wheels? Okay. We're not great since we just took 6 damage off those street wraiths. But yeah. Interesting. So they really need 8? Okay. They really need 4 mana. Torch of Defiance. This is for a turn. They deal 4 to that. 3 blood raid, violent. Yep. It's funny that a land off the top isn't out. We go down to 7 here. We need one of our cards. That won't do it. However, we can... Yeah. So we can cycle Ceradon, try to find it. That won't do it. So now we Pyromancer to try to be able to block, take 4, go to 3, take 4 again. We lose. Darn. Because we can pitch. Yeah, at this point it's pitch a land and a horror since we can't cycle it. Discard both creatures? I could see that, yeah. This is my luck. Halfway through the deck, 2 of our Cascade cards that we just can't cast. So they probably eat the 11/11. They eat the 5/4. Okay. We go down to 5. Uptick. They add mana. Buys us another turn. Unless they have Glorybringer? So we just die on their next turn. Doesn't matter what we do. Even if we can Living End. Because Colossus... Well, no, Colossus would animate here, wouldn't it? So we technically have an out. I conceded too early there. We draw for turn, it's Blood Moon, whatever. We can... At that point, we don't have anything because we need our green for Violent Outburst, and we need the green for the Titanoth Rex. True, because Chandra. Yeah. Even if we board clear with a Living End where they exile their Colossus, we just die to the Chandra. All right. Oh, you're right. Because Colossus gets animated when Glorybringer comes down, and then they exert killing our 2/2. We have to block with our 1/1, and we take 6. Yep. I was planning on them swinging and exerting. I just completely forgot that. Oh yeah, this will animate their Colossus, and Colossus won't have summoning sickness. Okay, as far as what we want, Big Dead. I don't think we want it. Like maybe Angers as a way to just deal with their Magus of the Moon. Anger, Shave. They're running Blood Moon effects. We don't need to run Blood Moon effects. There we go. Maybe Ingot. Oh, I'd imagine. Useful if they have... Yeah, that is true. Hey, would you look at that? That card we were looking for all game last game. Thank you, deck. I appreciate you. Not at all. So the issue with this is while it has the Violent Outburst, well, it's a turn 3 Violent Outburst Cascade 11/11. Yeah, it's like, I'm looking at this hand. It's not phenomenal, but at the same time, a turn 3 11/11 seems pretty hard for them to beat. We go Wooded Foothills here, past turn. There you go, Wooded Foothills. They fetch probably for a Stomping Grounds tapped here. So on the bright side, no turn 2 Moon that we have to worry about. Utopia Sprawls on the forest. Name's probably red. Yep. Has up 2. What are we afraid of? 2 mana, instant speed. Nothing from them, right? Let's go get this basic forest and cycle this Rex. Hey, there we go. Green, double red, Violent Outburst, Cascade trigger, cascades into Living End. Cast Living End. And we now have an 11/11. That is true. I mean, both points there are valid. They could have had surgical. They bolt our face. Okay. They should be scooping. They should, but that doesn't mean that they will. Bloodbraid cascades into Clothis. Cool. So the question is, do we go for the ultimate route and anger to deal 3 damage to everything since they're tapped out? I kind of like doing that. At the same time, I think it's just go to combat. And they stop what? 2 damage? Doesn't change the clock from a 2-turn clock. Okay, they eat our Violent Outburst, sure. They go up to 9. Now they could play something, double block, and live another turn. Okay, they concede. Cool. But at that point, if they played a second creature to block with, we then anger first to remove the Bloodbraid Elf and deal 3 damage to whatever their other blocker was. Turns out an 11/11 on turn 3 is good. Who would think? 2 cyclers. I needed land, bolt, Bloodbraid Elf, and the bolt. Yeah. So the problem is this Living End in our hand. I like the rest of this hand. but it's basically a 6-card hand because of this living end. So the question is, could I get a better 6 by mulligan? I think the answer to that question is yes. We'll risk it. Not great, but it's a better 6. Yeah, it's like that initial 7, which was basically a 6. That's true. We're also on the draw here. Stomping Ground shocks it into an Arbor Elf. Okay. So they might have turn 2 Moon Effect. At this point, we lead on Catacombs Pass. Okay, opponent. That is indeed a Grafdigger's Cage. You shall see why this is a mistake. So the question is, do we go ahead and fetch this basic swamp here? Like, we're fetching. Do we play around them having a Blood Moon effect? You would? Okay. We don't really need swamp? Okay. Well, I mean, there's only one force in the deck, right? I'd like to see what I can grab here. Yeah, so it's either fetch these dual colors for now, or fetch the swamp in case they hit us with a Blood Moon effect. I like having access to black. Yeah, I was gonna say there's no need to play out that forest. We can go ahead and cycle this though. Cool. And now we get payoff for having cycled black. Grove, pass turn. Our opponent needs Relic or Pillage. Yep. I mean, doesn't look like that they have it, so you're about to see why Grafdigger's Cage doesn't do what you thought it did, opponent. Game's over. Yep. Writing's on the wall. Opponent kept one hand on Cage. Yep. Let's show him why that was a mistake. Oh, you're right. It's instant speed. I don't have to do this until they make a move. They bolt us. Yeah, we do it on their instep. I was just about to do it main phase because I'm so used to cards having sorcery speed. Oh yeah, we also just have untap into Bloodbraid. 3, 6, 12, 16. Bloodbraid. Yeah, Bloodbraid, and then we cascade into something. Odds are another living end effect. Well, we were drawing the pyro for turn. Our cascade would have been monkey. Yeah. Well, I guess at that point we don't Bloodbraid. We just go with the Pyromancer. Right? Because Pyromancer gives this guy +8. Because, like, there's nothing that we could hit off of the Bloodbraid that would give more than +8 to that board state. Or it's only +4. But still. Okay, I mean... doesn't seem bad for turn 2. Unless they're discard, but they're a Yorion deck. Please don't let this be Yorion Neo form. Okay, it's not. Good. Oh, it's Scape Shift. Sweet. Swamp, say go. There is a rug Scape Shift list going around. Well, that's a Renin 6. That won't do it, opponent. Because you tapped out a blue mana. I guess if they have Force of Negation, plays Arrow. Of course. Why would you not play Arrow in today's metagame? Do they play Force? They typically have it as a 1 or 2 of. So is the Vigilance more important, or is the 6 damage more important? I'm guessing the 6 damage. Yeah. Could absolutely just hose them with Blood Moon. Go turn 2 Moon, pass turn. I'm not opposed to turn 2 Moon, pass turn 3 Violent Outburst. Just shuts them off of their colors and keeps us on ours. So yeah, they can go get something with the search for tomorrow. Here comes Force of Vigor. They get themselves a blue mana. Upticks Renin 6. Does not have a target. So what counter magic do they have on 1 blue? Probably Remand? We can Violent Outburst on their turn. I don't know what counter list that they play. Most of the time it's like a couple of cryptic commands, some... Well, if you're gonna tap out of blue... Yep. Okay. They had the Force of Negation. Unfortunate for us. We could have waited until their end step so that way they couldn't force if they don't hit their blue source here. Because they need another basic island. Oh, of course they have it in the deck, but did they have to have it in hand? So they liked one of the cards because they put it on top. It's probably that other Omen. So we get a bit punished for going for the tap out on our turn. That's fine. We'll draw an out. They put Yorion into hand. And they uptick their Ren. So we have Seasoned Pyromancer here. We could cycle Phantasaur and then Pyromancer. The problem is if we do that, yeah. So if we go for the cycle, yeah, it's a matter of do we tap out of Violent Outburst or do we tap out of the Dread? I guess we tap out of Dread. Yeah. Oh, you're right. We'll discard these two. We don't need the monkey. Bit unfortunate of hitting lands. But that's fine, hopefully. Bloodbraid Elf soon. 42 cards. That running 6 keeps going up, but we're not afraid of a Ren emblem, are we? So they could... I guess they would then have Force of Negation. We can keep one elemental at Ren. Or they have Yorion. Sure. Why wouldn't they? Well, we knew that they had that. So that exiles both Omens of the Sea. Yep. They can repeatedly search tomorrow. They don't have access to green mana. But yes, they could. If they had the access to the mana. They currently have blue and red. So they could repeatedly Force of Negation us. I guess I should have played... We're almost to the point where we can hardcast these cards. So if we swing these at Ren, that at him, keeps either Ren in check or... Okay. They block an elemental, they take 2, and Ren goes down to 6, or they have Bolt, meaning that they now can retrace bolts. That seems pretty good. Ren emblem? Well, no, because they just pitched a land. Or played a land. So they uptick Ren, pass turn. Well, yeah. Assuming they don't hit us for 4 here. I would really like to draw a castable card. I should specify next time. Seasoned Pyromancer, discard that, hit both of those. Okay. On the bright side, this horror is castable. That 4. We can't do that plus cycle. Okay, they scry 2 off of Omen. Put 2 on bottom. I'm wondering what their out is at this point. I guess it's Cryptic Bounce Moon. So they can then escape shift. They go for the emblem. They can now retrace. Well, yeah. But we can beat that. Okay, they bolt us. How many lands do they have in their hand is the question. Yes, they can retrace force over and over if they have the lands to pitch. Swamp. So let's go ahead and take this turn to swing both of these Pyromancers at the Ren in 6. That way they have to have another land in hand to keep Ren alive. Or they have Snap Bolt. So they block. Sure, makes sense. They don't really care about the Snapcaster. And they want to keep their bolt in the yard so they can retrace it. Yeah. They're 1 island away. Well, yeah, like I said, that's my luck. I always get the control matchups to make this nice and long streams. All right. So we know that they have a land in hand. That sounds about right. So I could swing instant speed cycle twice. Get them for 8 if they don't block. Their odds are they're blocking. But we have an out. And we've always had an out. That seems like a pretty good card. So they retrace their bolt. So that'll kill. We can't stop that from killing. That's fine. It'll still kill their Yorion. And now we can pass turn. Hope they tap out of blue mana. They get their polluted Delta back. I guess at this point, while they don't have a land in hand to retrace, we go ahead and try for this Violent Outburst. Let's cycle first. Okay. And show me that you have another land to pitch for this Force of Negation. Of course they do. We still have to try to force it. So that is all of our living ends. We still have an out, though. Yeah, it's like, we still run good cards. We do this to try to just dig a bit deeper. Valiant Outburst doesn't hit anything now. And that'll give us a pretty decent card. And we have these Seasoned Pyromancers in the graveyard that we can make elemental tokens with. I think we're still in pretty good shape here. Our opponent's having to try to dig. Opponent cannot dig as well as we can. Okay, they get their land back. Okay. Go ahead and play out this Horror of the Broken Lands over making elemental tokens. Yeah, I was gonna say T-Rex is a great draw here because it allows us to cycle the T-Rex, put the counter onto the Horror, and still have mana to Seasoned Pyromancer next turn. Yeah, I would say this is a matter of keeping this around. They get Prismatic Vista into hand so they can double bolt. Yep, bolt number 1. And bolt number 2. Okay, no point to cycle because it only gets +2/+1. So that'll happen, it'll die. Land. In combat, we can hit them. They go down to 11, and on their instep, we can go ahead and make some Seasoned Pyromancer tokens. Okay, they put Vista back into their hand. Make some elementals. Yeah. Clean up, they have to discard down to hand size. We'll play a 3/4. Okay. We can go ahead and cycle this Rex on the end step. Opponent picks up another land. Yeah, that's the plan here, is to lean on these Pyromancer. Is to just go extremely wide. It's just that Street Wraith has a 3/4. Seems pretty good. Okay. Turn comes to us. I think at this point, it's hold these cards and go wide, as you were saying. They can go to 2. Or they can have Bolt. Okay, they go to 5. So while going wide doesn't sound bad, they can just ping plus Bolt. We would hit them for 3. And then they have to do that again to stay alive. Yeah, they're fine. We'll just go wide. And go wide, try to find Bloodbraid Elf. Our main problem here is going to be clock. We need to pay attention to it. Because I believe this is game 1. Yeah, it's definitely game 1. We've got counter magic in the sideboard. Make some tokens. Let's go ahead and try to find Bloodbraid Elf here. Like, yeah, this sucks putting a trample counter on a 1/1. But there's our Bloodbraid. Cool. Mean 1, 2, 3. Oh, how neat. We'll have enough to do. Oh yeah, Violent Outburst off this Cascade seems pretty good. Target creature can't block this turn. Cascade, there's nothing to hit. So now their Bolt has to try to hit this Bloodbraid. Bolt's a Bloodbraid, sure. Bolt's an Elemental, sure. Just swing all of them at them. Take them to 1. Unlucky, but that's cool. Yeah. Opponent goes to 1. We could cast Street Wraith. I like holding and doing Pyromancer since we've got one more in our graveyard. They finally concede. Yeah, I want to say we have one more, so we might as well do that to go wider. Okay. What was their out that they were trying to draw? So the Fulminator's in, Ricochet Traps in, Blood Moon stay in. As far as what we're taking out, but Footfalls definitely could be. Bring in Footfalls for the grind. Probably Islander Forest for the Uro. I mean, yeah, it was definitely Island for the Cryptic that they've had the entire game. Footfalls over the Living End? Okay. Over all 3 Living Ends? Or do I want to have some number in? Not a mix? Okay. I feel trying to... True. I'll take out a Monkeys. Then we have 3 more to cut. Horrors castable. I'm thinking it's probably cut some. True. We're not can't even cast this card. Yep, that's exactly what our cut is. Well, yes, it now makes it so we don't have the. Yeah. We lose our trample counter, but I don't think we're winning based on having trample over. Yeah, I was gonna say both can't be cast. So hands tempting from the aspect of these cycles could hit us our 3rd and 4th land to make this Fulminator and Bloodbraid be very good. Need to play faster though. Or up a game. Why not? There you go. Scalding Tarn. Probably gonna hold that as long as possible or grab a basic. We draw our 3rd land, which means this Fulminator is online. That's what we want to see. Interesting that they chose to not get a basic. Well, there's a Valakut and an Abundant Growth. That seems like a very good Fulminator Mage target, opponent. We will go ahead and fetch. We'll just put it in tapped since we're not doing anything anyway. On turn 2. And then play out this Foothills past turn. We can double cycle on their instep. Trying to find land 4. Then we have Fulminator Mage destroy their Valakut. Crackwooded Foothills. Go get Blood Crypt. We'll shock it in. Cycle. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. Fulminator Mage. Has Remand. Okay. Yes, I did, I believe. Yes, we did. I would say that and the Fulminator Mages were what we brought in as the 5. I mean, we know that they have Cryptic here, but we've got to try to bait it out anyway, right? Yep, counter draw. Cryptic's good. Outburst. So Outburst only makes 4/4s. I'd rather Cascade off of this Bloodbraid. See if we can't do a Chain Cascade. Of course we want to cast this Fulminator Mage. Snap Remand. Remand's targeting that. Yep. Well, we're not getting there by not attacking. So they're 2 lands out from killing us? 1 land out? Forget how Valakut math works. 5 plus 1. So they need 6. Okay. So they now have enough. If they have the Scape Shift here, they do not. Okay. That's pretty good for us. They need 7. I thought 7 was for 18 because we're at less than that. The 7's the guarantee. That. Bloodbraid cascades into Crashing Footfalls. Sure, we'll try to cast that. We created 2 Rhino tokens. I'll go ahead and suspend that Crashing Footfalls. With Dryad, they only need 6? Yes, because Valakut counts itself. I guess. Aether Gust? Yeah, 5 other. Growth Spirals. So we're dead to Scape Shift. We have the Bolt, sure. Mystic Sanctuary to put, what, Cryptic on top? Yep. So they now have the soft lock. Okay, they play down their Titan. Yeah. I mean, they can counter the Fulminator Mage. Ooh, that's pretty good. Swing for 8. So if we go for this Fulminator, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they wouldn't have enough to Valakut. Notably, the trip. You're right. So it needs to be counter draw. Okay. Nice Fang. Sounds good. Second Ice Fang? Second Ice Fang. Search for tomorrow. Okay, you get to cast this. Yeah, that's my plan here, is Outburst on Instep. Outburst on Instep, hope they go for counter draw. Yeah. I was gonna say, at this point, we're just hoping to dodge Scape Shift. Blue, blue. Green, green. So they're tapping out. My guess is this is Escape Shift. Yep. We're gonna concede to save some time. I can guarantee you they have enough mountains if they sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sack those 6, keep the mountains and the Valakut. And that'll get them 6 triggers. Oh, switch back now? Well, I hit submit too quick. So, chance that turn 3 Blood Moon doesn't sound terrible. We might grind out to the point where we run out of clock, but that's fine. Team Vince tapped. Fetch for that. Cycle this. Cycle that. Cool. There's our wooded foothills for our basic forest, and then we pass the turn. Go ahead and cycle the uncastable card. Neat. 4th land. So go ahead and force them to pick a color or have counter magic. Well, snow-covered forest makes me think that this might be resolving. It's not. Makes me sad. They always have the remand. And now they have Force of Negation mana. Opponent, you want to not have it all? Well, there's a Valakut. Land? Yeah, baby. Blood Moon. Show me remand number 3. Omen of the Sea, scries 2, sure. And I tapped that incorrectly. I should have left up this forest. Yep. You notice the exact same thing? We'll pass here. Cast Pyro? I guess, yeah. We're not getting anywhere if we're not doing things proactively. Discard those 2. Yep. Pass turn. Have our opponent on a 5-turn clock. They need an out to this Blood Moon. Yep. So the second basic island I don't like. Just from the aspect of it means that they could potentially have Force of Negation. Well, Violent Outburst on their instep to put 2 4/4s into play. Hit them for 12 next turn. They go for another Search for Tomorrow. Gets themselves their 3rd island. Well, opponent. Show me your Cryptic command. Because this is either they counterbounce now or they let this resolve. Yes, that would be the correct option. I'm misplaying hard here because I'm trying to not run to clock. Oh yeah, tap your team bounce. Well, if they tap team bounce, we then go replay, right? For land short. Season Pyromancer make another dude. Neat. We could suspend this Crushing Footfalls. I don't think it's a... Okay, so they didn't have Cryptic. They were just hoping... They were just showing Cryptic. Puts 2 cards on top. Not a fan of that. So snow-covered forest. Cryptic bounce draw, and then they have scape shift. I'm gonna make him go through it. Just make sure that they have the mountains. I'm sure that they do. Extremely close, yeah. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That should give Valakut 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. That's 21. That'll do it. So at that point, we'd have lethal. Unfortunate that we get 2 blue mages in 3 matches. Match number 4. Let's hop into it. I would love to take the play. I mean, this isn't great, but I still think this is a keep. The hand's great as far as the cycling. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the one downside is it's not the correct cascade that we'd want. But other than that, it's great. Okay, so Tron. Not only Tron, green Tron. So this Demonic Dread's not going to have a target. Time to try to find something that can target. I mean, we can cast a monkey. That's fine. I'm going to be hard casting a monkey so that way we have a target for Demonic Dread. Oh, Blood Moon would be great here. They went and got basic forest. Okay. Or we'll hit the Violent Outburst, and we've got next turn. Cool. Let them do a Tron thing, and then tell them no. Worm Coil Engine, sure. They'll make 2 3/3s. We'll have a board state. True. I can see not doing it in response, but I can see doing it in response as well. Because while this splits up the blockers, it does make it so they don't have double death touch. But yes, I can definitely see your point. Oh, you're right. You're right. And now a cycler off the top doesn't win us the game. I don't want to talk about it. Can we go ahead and we swing here? They need Karn or Ugin. Yeah, they can block 2 creatures here. Gain 3, take 7. We can cycle to pump by 2. Well, on the bright side, we have a pretty good next turn. We'll go Blood Crypt tapped. Pass turn. They now need Ugin off the top or Karn to kill our 4/4. I mean, it's Tron, so they always have it, right? The problem is this is Ugin -6. Worldbreaker. Exiles our stomping ground. Okay. Yeah, Demonic Dread stops it from blocking, and we just don't cast Living End. Right? Cascades of May? Yeah, you may cast it. We just won't cast Exile, Seasoned Pyromancer, +4. You're right. Yeah, draw step. There we go. So land, fetch and shock. A 2. Red, black, 1. Violent Outburst. Target creature cannot block. Cascade. Finds Living End. No, I would not like to cast Living End. I guess at this point it's just natural cycle this Archfiend. And see if we find like another Street Wraith to cycle. Opponent concedes with that. Cool. So we would have drawn Living End off the cycle. How funny. Okay, Tron, Fulminator Mage comes in. Blood Moon stays in. That's true. It can stop their early game stuff. So we want these 5 in as far as what we're shaving. I think it might be shave on. That's definitely true. That or like a chromatic sphere, chromatic star thing, starts them off of green. Shave that. I think at this point it's like a numbers game. Relic, yeah. Keeping these guys. Pyromancer seems pretty good as a way to redraw. It might actually be shave one Pyromancer, one Bloodbraid. What do you think of that? For the Ingot Chewer and the Fulminator Mage shaving on just numbers of some of our cyclers and then a Bloodbraid and a Seasoned Pyromancer? I don't... Like, there's nothing that's just like, this card's awful. Like, Demonic Dread's not great, but... Pyro's okay. This isn't really the matchup. Yeah. Okay, I could see bringing back in one of the cyclers, taking out another Pyromancer. Let's do it so that way we have the one that's castable. Feel like that. See how we do. It's Tron. You just need to be fast. So you know how I said we needed to be fast? This hand's not fast, but it sure is mean. Oh, God. There we go. Yeah. Simian Spirit Guide off the top. Monkey off the top. Let's see it one time. We've got 2 draws at this monkey. Yeah, if we were on the play, this is over. But we're not. So they have Tron. Let's see what they can do with it. We're hoping the answer is nothing. Okay, well, that's a Karn liberated. That is not nothing. Exiles the Blood Crypt. Well, that's not nice. Okay. The funny part is, I was gonna say monkey off the top and we're still in this. But with that, they now get to pick apart one more land. And then they play their second card that they have in hand. And we have no more lands. Oh, that's nice. They upticked for us. We'll go ahead and pitch a Bloodbraid here. Yeah, I was gonna say their follow-up is our main concern. And 7 mana. Worm Coil. Not great. Star, okay. I was gonna say the Worm Coil's not that big of a follow-up. And it's not Blood Moon here because they have Karn to downtick. So it's Fulminator Mage, sack on draw step, I guess. Picked up a relic. That's not good for us. I want to say we need a pretty great draw off the top here. And I mean, we can hold these to cycle. We can cut them off of Tron. The problem is we're not beating that. I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, we definitely needed to. Yes. We'll do this. Stop on their turn. Shut them off of Tron mana. Hope we picked the right one. We did not. That's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and go to game 3 because we're not winning from this position. So we draw that for the turn. They'd exile permanent. We would cycle, draw, be able to have 3 mana, not be able to do anything with it. Try to find... Okay, yeah. We weren't going to get there. Just hope for that, but on the play. Yeah. Do we keep one landers? I don't think so. As tempting as this is, yeah, I was gonna say it because of the cycling. I feel like we might be able to get there. Eh. That's true. But yeah, I was gonna say, knowing that all we have to hit is land, that means that we're never gonna hit land. Let's mulligan once. Same scenario, but worse. Mulligan to 5. Okay, this is a keepable 5. Bottom the Outburst, bottom the Bloodbraid Elf. That way we have 2 mana, try to find our third. Yep. Power plant into sphere. Sounds good. Yeah, but okay, well. Wow. Wow. Did somebody say cascade spells? Okay. Guess we're just never gonna hit land drop number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 draws at it. And they just have natural Tron. Okay. That's pretty good for us. Thought Not Seer. Take your pick. Thought Not's actually pretty good for us. Okay, so they really don't like Blood Moon. Yep. Any land off the top here is good enough. This Ancient Stirrings to try to find themselves a new threat. Okay. Well, there's a map. Cool. Not great from the aspect of we didn't get to cycle this, but we did get some duders. We're not dead. They need another tower. Because they couldn't crack that map that same turn. Because they can do this, go get tower, and then they'll have enough the next turn. But we have Blood Moon. Okay, there's their tower. They play the tower. They have 8 mana available. 6 cards in hand. Blood Moon. Smack. Yeah, they took Moon with Thought Not Seer. So they saw the moon. This game. And they might have seen, yeah, they could have seen it off of a Cascade spell as well. In the other games? No. Maybe? I don't know. Turn our creature sideways. Okay. That is not a card I think of Tron running. Ever. Good for you, opponent, I guess. How do you play around fog? You just have to go have it. And if you have it, cool, you live a turn. I mean, you always joke about playing around fog. I've never actually run into fog in a game. That was hilarious. Outside of Commander and Casual, I will agree, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is Demonic Dread and just having a living end in hand and 2 3/6s worth it? Yeah, it's like, it's not terrible, but I feel we could do better on 6. As we're already looking at a 6. Okay, sure. Yeah. What do we put back? I want the 3 mana. I guess let's put back a Street Wraith. Raging Ravine, let's go. Jund versus Living End. uh Don't cycle. Never cycle. Put in this Verdant and pass. Say we have no need to cycle until we're ready to go off. Don't cycle until turn 3. Turn 3 or turn 2? Their turn 3 or turn 2. Inquisitions us. Okay. Yeah. Take the monkey. One is having to read some cards. We could. We'll get this base. I should have gotten Overgrown Tomb there. I was thinking about Blood Moon type effect. There we go. Never punished. Right, I was gonna say, forcing them to take one of these things, yeah, it means we don't get the draw, but do you really want to be taking my Street Race or this Rex? It's just fueling my game plan, right? Red, black, crux, okay. So that's not great for us. Do we pitch a land here and take the 3? Or do we dump, like, our Rex? I think it's pitch land. Yeah, we'll pitch land, take 3. Yeah, I was saying, now we cycle on their instep. Try to find ourselves a Cascade spell here. Yeah. Go grab a basic basic swamp. Just because this grove will get us our red. And now in the instep, we will cycle. Find ourselves a land, cycle Street Wraith. Find ourselves a land. Let's be 3 for 3. Okay, it wasn't 3 for 3. The draw, however. Yeah, life total definitely is getting low. But we needed to try, right? Black, green. Oh, come on. Scoos takes the 11/11. And now they have enough for Crux on next turn. No, they don't have any cards in their graveyard. go ahead and cycle the 3/6 Vigilance. And they eat our Hex. Yep. Now let's hope that we hit. Why? It's a coming opponent. It's a coming. Uh. Bolts our face. Eats 2 creatures, hits us for 5, has another bolt, we lose. Or animates Raging Ravine, hits us for 7. Cool. Right, Raging Ravine gets a counter when it attacks. That's 7 damage. Yep. All right. Gotta love my magic curse, no matter what deck it is. Okay, is this a Macabre matchup? I feel this is Macabre and Fulminator Mage. Just as a way to either eat things out of the yard to make their glyphs a bit smaller, or eat their Croxas so that way they don't get Croxa back. Eh. Ah. Anger Fulminator sounds fine. Pyromancer seems a bit slow. It's Jun, so Blood Moon's not terrible, but Blood Moon's not fantastic against them. I want to leave it in. We'll shave on. I guess 2 Vantasaurs? Like so, yeah, it makes. Puts what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 hits that aren't good for Bloodbraid, 10 hits that do cascade into Living End. We'll try it. All right, we definitely want the play. Sure. Gives us access to all 3 of our colors, or allows us to shut them off of a color and have cycling. Yeah. Yeah, we lost that game. They were swinging for 7 on lethal. I mean, yeah. Remember what? Moving as a board wipe. Yeah. Takes our Blood Moon. Yeah, double A line with hand disruption. Sounds pretty good. Let's see if they have double hand disruption, double ley line. Yeah, I was gonna say this is only cycle if we need it. Right. Well, but I feel T-Rex we want to hold so that we can put trample on something. Use that effect. Need to tap that for red. Yep. I was gonna say there's how we beat them. Well, there's a Raging Ravine. Not a bad card. Although I think we want to just shut them off of black. I'll take 2. I feel we want to shut them off of black mana here. Well, yes, we lose our clock. It now makes it so they don't have access to a color of their mana. We can also Demonic Dread this Scavenging Ooze if it gets too big. Yeah, I was gonna say we're definitely gonna be starting to cycle here. Just because we need to find outs. Oh. Well, there's a Renin 6. And they can uptick their Blood Crypt. Yep. They can play that land if they so please. They do put into play tapped. Let's go ahead and cycle. Well, there's a Living End. Cycle that. Come on, lands. Bloodbraid's great once we get lands. Plague Engineer. Sure. What do you name with Plague Engineer? Yeah, it gives us something. They name Wraith. Interesting. So we can at least kill 2 creatures. If we don't hit anything. Thanks, game. Board wipe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bloodbraid of their own. Oh. That's fine. We can pitch a Lily. Or pitch Living End. It's us for 1 with Ren. We each discard. Discard Living End. We take 3, go to 8. How do you think I feel? We got there, finally. So they can hit us for 7, right? They have enough to activate. Oh, that's game. We lose. Or not. Why, opponent? Opponent, you have lethal. Whatever. Jund players just like to show you that they have cards. I've just determined this. Because last match of Jund, opponent had the exact same issue. Where they had a Crooks in the yard that they could have cast for like 3 turns and killed us. But they never did. This time they could have gone animate, swing for 7, and then ping us with Ren in 6. Instead, opponent wants to give us a chance. Okay. Monkey's pretty good. Huh, how funny. So we could land Archfiend, and then when they go to attack, cycle. We'd lose our Bloodbraid to Lily. We take 3. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead no matter what we do. From the aspect of They just have, like, we need, no, I believe I boarded them all out because I'm stupid. So we can spin to spin. Yep. Hey, we hit a Fulminator Mage. So we can block, blow up their Raging Ravine when they go to animate. Hope they don't have Bolt. Oh yeah, we're dead from so many different angles. Like, it's replay Croaks, okay, we have to sack a creature, and now we just absolutely die, right? Because we can only block one, we take 3, no matter how we do that. Yep. Because, like, at that point... Yep. So, we sack Bloodbraid, just as an example. They animate Raging Ravine, go to combat, swing with Raging Ravine, Goyf, Bloodbraid. We block Goyf, we sack to kill their Raging Ravine. And then we get hit for 3, and then they ping us with Ren. Yep. Unfortunate. Lost to the Blue Mages and to Jund. I feel I could have piloted the Jund matchup. Oh yeah, it definitely feels like a great... It feels like a great matchup. I just probably piloted it wrong. Well, I really didn't pilot it wrong. I drew like shit. let's be real. Those draws in that Jund match were just awful. Matches 1 and match 5 just had a lot of bad draws. Match 2 was real close for being a control matchup. Yeah, you know, it looks like a toddler, right? Just something that you would post on your fridge out of shame. Go, yeah, my kid drew this. Anyway, deck was definitely fun. I might try out the blue-red version just to see the difference, because this seems like a fun take on Living End. And so we might try that eventually. Anyway, people, I can see how people like the blue version, but I definitely agree that this is what I think of when I think Living End. Is this violent outburst Living End, a bunch of cyclers. I honestly really like the Rex. Just that turn 3 11/11 deal with it. That's very powerful. The only change I might make to this deck might be adding another basic forest. So that way when if we get to that stupid line, Moon, Take Command, Beast Within. Yeah. 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 Only change, I might maybe swap out this Bloodstained Mire for a forest. Beast Within turns Demonic Dread. It's the Fairy, Tron lands. Yep, hits the Fairy, hits Tron's lands. Also hits the enchantment, the Leyline of the Void. Not like it would have mattered in that matchup where they had 2 of them. But yeah, Beast Within. Definitely a card to consider since we're already in green. Maybe drop some number of like the Macabres. Because the only matchup I really want these in. Yeah, I would say the downside of them having a token in this deck, it gets killed to their living end. Sounds good to me. Yeah, I could see maybe changing these out for Beast Withins, and then the Ricochet Trap's nice. I feel while it's still legal in the format, you might just want these to be Veil of Summer. Make both of the spells uncounterable. Yeah, that's true. We need some amount. Well, you can. Playing Veil will then make your Violent Outburst and Demonic Dreads not guaranteed to hit Living End. So yeah, you're right. Ricochet Trap's the way to go. There's nothing stopping you from making your deck just strictly worse. But yeah, you're 100% right. Playing Veil's not correct.